fucking great item! Whoa! Crash bang! Ugh. 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 Oh, my back is killing me. Well, these tubes, these boom tube trips keep getting tougher every week. Well, once again, from a secret, undisclosed location, hidden somewhere deep in the bowels of downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, in the far, far reaches of eastern Canada, comes In the Library of Graphic Literature, with your host, me, Wallace Roy. So this is 2 shows in 1 week, because we did get our books not on time, but within a day or so. Oh, hang on a sec. Let's have a nice spin on the old spinner right there, okay? But yeah, somewhat on time anyway. So that's good enough for me, and what is good enough for me should be good enough for you, or better be. Any big news? Yeah. Oh yes, Howard Cruz died this week. One of the great graphic novelists of our time. Stuck Rubber Baby is a classic of graphic literature. So do yourself a favor and have a read of it. And rest in peace, Howard. Never met the guy, but loved his work. Anyway, what do we have? Oh yes. A lot of times, of course, some of the books I preview I've never read before, and that's really, I guess, what Thursday Comics is for talking about the comics that you did like. But I just gotta say, the Kill or Be Killed, I'm loving that. I'm reading that right now, and it's wicked. Anyway, let's move on to this week's books. Woo! And let's start out. People hate it when you go like that after having tea, even me. So I'm doing it ironically, by the way. So let's open up the show with. These days I'm trying to open, as I said, the show with the. I start with what I think are sort of like the stars of it, and I move in a descending order, just because to make sure that I get, at least I get into books that everyone wants to see. So a lot of times, some of the more obscure stuff will be later on in the show, so hang on, have a read there. Anyway, from Gerard Way and Gabriel Ba comes The Umbrella Academy, Dallas. Very nice book here. I gotta say, Dark Horse really does do a nice job on collected editions. Beautiful end papers. Just nicely designed books all around, right? And I'm still waiting to crack the first volume of this, so I'm not going to try to read too much ahead so that I don't ruin it for myself. But I like, just even having zipped through it, I like the style, I like where it's going. And it's definitely one, and especially now with it being on Netflix, of course, there's been a renewed interest in it, I've found too, where, when it first came out, there was a lot of excitement died down, but once the TV show started, whoa, went insane. So it's a rainy day, by the way, way out here on the edge of the continent. I know some of you are getting snow and wind and stuff like that, but to us it's just a bit of high wind, not high winds, bit of rain. It's supposed to be a bit of snow in the central part of our island, but not out here. We're just getting rain. I'd actually assume there's snow, You can tell that I don't own a car, hey? And who needs a car these days anyway, really, right? Okay, now, moving right along. I'm actually having, this is English breakfast tea from Tetley Tea, which is not a half bad blend. Okay, another Timeless Greatest Omnibus is out, and this one is the one for the Golden Age Human Torch. Dun, 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 dun. So this has all his adventures from Marvel Comics, Marvel Mystery Comics, Human Torch, All Winners, Young Man, yada yada yada. So yeah, it's it got just about I think this is probably most of what's in the Golden Age of at least when it comes to the Human Torch. Let's de-dust jacket it. Oh. And there's love those covers, right? And of course, the big thing at the time was the big fight between the Human Torch and the Submariner. Basically, fire versus water. And they were some of the early titanic battles between two superheroes, at least. They were always having a go at each other. It seems, anyway. Oh, there he is. He's back there again. Then, of course, they got together to fight Hitler, like all good heroes would. So, but yeah, one of the original Marvel superheroes, the Human Torch. Now, this is not, of course, Johnny Storm. This is the android Human Torch, who for years was, at least according to the comics, was the basis for the Vision, which I kind of like that idea. It's sort of a neat way of doing it, right? Oh, be quiet, you over there. Usually I turn off. Oh, hang on a second. Let's silence that. Usually I do shut this off. There we go. Keeps people from bothering me while I'm doing my show, doing my thing. Okay. Up next is, of course, one of the 80s sleeper hits. It didn't seem that cool when he first came out, but he seemed to come into his own after. Introducing the greatest hero you've never heard of, Booster Gold from Dan Jurgens and Mike DeCarlo. Hey, Mike, look what we got here. Yeah, he was sort of an interesting hero. He became more. He really came into his own when they basically added him into the Justice League, the more humorous version of the Justice League. But this is the Booster Gold series 1 to 12. So I figured, I can remember people liked it at the time, and I mean the hero kept on coming back and back and back. So I figured there got to be something to the old laddie-o. I do like the cover there too. Now let's have a look. Of course, it's Dan Jurgens inside, by Mighty Mike DeCarlo. So yeah, it was. I do believe Jurgens. I think he wrote it. I thought. No. It was. Yeah, Jurgens did write it. So yeah, some early Dan Jurgens for you Dan Jurgens fans out there, and I know there are some of you out there. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. Worth being in anyone's library. One of the 1980s sort of quaint classics, I call them. Whew, 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 whew. Now, stop once again for a sip of tea. Now, what else do we have here? Okay, here we have a collection of some of the comics of Little Lulu, Marge's Little Lulu, by John Stanley. When I was a kid, I actually read a lot of the Little Lulu comics and that. I know there was just something about little Lulu. It had a sort of a strange, sort of a strange sense of humor to it. But yeah, I don't know. There was something I liked about it, and it's same with other people like Alan Moore. It's definitely one of those cult cutesy comics for sure. And actually, the introduction is by Margaret Atwood. How's that? But yeah, something very, very cool about it. Now this is volume 1. This has been resolicited. So this one's actually quite a bit behind. It's only 35 Canadian. It's actually very cheap for a really nice looking volume. I really like the ink here with the varnish, with sort of the varnish drawings there. But yeah, very nice. Working Girl, check it out. Let's have a quick look here. But yeah, it's sort of it's one of those comics that it's takes a while to get to know. It's sort of a very it's an acquired taste, shall we say. But yeah, I can remember reading it when I was a kid. It was always so cool. Little Lulu. Right up there with little Dot. In my mind. If not a bit above him. Above her, little Dot. Oh, here's some of the covers. Oh, I love the covers too. It's just something very graphic too about little Lulu. Sort of what I liked about Schultz too was the simplicity. So yeah, definitely worth picking up. And that's gonna be. Oh, I'll give that a kiss. That's definitely. I'm looking forward to reading that. Whew, 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 whew. So, coming towards the last book here. Once again, the comic that I lettered for Patrick Kindlon and Paul Tucker from Black Mass, Nobody's in Control #3, will be released on the 11th now apparently. So check it out. It's a really good issue, and it's a great comic anyway. And let us know what you think. Oh yes, and of course the other thing too is check out our sister podcast, Thursday Comics, where myself and Dennis Osborne really give it both barrels to the comic industry. I'm kind of Mr. Nice Guy on this one, which I am a nice guy. But on that one I really let loose, so I'm sort of like Wallace on steroids. Anyway, last and not least, from fine folks at NBM is the Rolling Stones in Comics. Now this is an anthology. It's a bunch of different artists all doing different stories and all that. To be quite honest, none of that are immediately recognizable. But that's okay, because even just flipping through them, it looks kind of cool. It's kind of an interesting way to approach it. Everyone got their own little story about them, and yeah, I think I will give this a read. You know, I don't mind do like the Stones in terms of their music, so you know, why not give it a read? But yeah, NBM. The only thing about NBM is they don't do sewn bindings, right? It's just like, come on, folks, you do good comics, step it up a bit. So, yeah, like I say, different art, different stories. So it's kind of like a neat idea. I like this. It's kind of cool to see a little vignettes, bit of information, background. So yeah, it does look kind of cool. The life of a rock star. It's almost as good as the life of a comic book artist. But, you know, I mean, we all know they're not as cool as comic book artists, but, you know, musicians are okay, I guess. Saying that just to drive all my musician friends crazy. So, anyway, the Rolling Stones in comics. In a comic book store near you. Okay, well, I guess that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this week. There's a few good ones coming up next week too, by the way. And of course, we're barreling in towards the end of the year, and towards the end of the year, with the end of the year comes our, me and Dennis's big end of the year show. So I assume we'll do it for both, for in the Library of Graphic Literature and for Thursday Comics. Oh God, my back is killing me, folks. That's why I'm not jumping around like Mick Jagger, like I usually am, right? You know how energy filled I am, right? Anyway, that being said, well, yes, one other book too that I've been reading lately, Little Bird, from last week. Just read the first few issues, and whoa, is it ever cool? So that's definitely that one and Killer Be Kill from last week are definitely on the must buy list. Along with Craig Yo's Marvel Pinups book, by the way, that is really cool. Anyway, that being said, it's time to arrivederci and au revoir, and see you later, and thanks for having me over. Love all of you out there. And let's set that, let's call up that boom tube. Oh my God, look at it. It's the 376th biggest boom tube I've ever seen. Okay. Love you, folks. See you later. Bye. Oh, as he gets sucked up into it. Oh my God. Oh, look at me being sucked up into it. Oh. And then somehow mysteriously the camera turns on.